The sound of a truck pulling into the Heartland driveway breaks the calm evening silence. Amy's hand freezes mid-motion as she brushes down Borden. Her eyes lift, and there, through the rising dust, stands a man she knows better than anyone. The world around her stops. The man steps forward, the sun catching the outline of his face. And it's him, Borden, the heartbeat of Heartland, the man she loved, lost, and mourned. Her voice trembles, almost too scared to speak, as if one wrong word could make him disappear again. Ty, is that really you? That moment, whether real or imagined, shakes the entire world of Heartland to its core. It's the moment fans never thought they'd see, and yet, here it is. Ty's return doesn't just open old wounds. It sets off a chain of emotions that no one at Heartland is ready for. For years, Amy Fleming has learned to live with an empty space beside her. She's raised Lyndy on stories of the father who healed horses, who believed in her dreams, who was her greatest partner and her truest love. The ranch, though still full of life, always felt quieter without him. Jack tried to keep her strong, Lou tried to keep her busy, and Tim, well, he never stopped blaming himself for not being there that day. But Amy's heart never truly healed, it just learned to live with the ache. And now, as she stands in front of that familiar figure, her world splits into half of her wants to run into his arms, the other half fears she's finally lost her grip on reality. Ty doesn't say much. He doesn't need to. That look, that soft smile, the warmth in his eyes, it's exactly how she remembers. The years melt away in a single heartbeat. Amy can't stop shaking. Borden nudges her softly, as if sensing her confusion. The camera lingers on her face, disbelief, fear, hope, all mixing together like a storm ready to break. Behind her, the house lights flicker through the window. Inside, Jack sits reading, unaware that outside, a ghost from their past has just walked through the front gate. The wind picks up, and the music swells, gentle piano underlining the weight of the moment. Amy whispers again, her voice cracking, "Ty!" And this time, he steps closer, his boots crunching the gravel, the sound that once meant safety, love, and home. But just as she reaches out, the screen fades to black. The sound of a heartbeat echoes in the dark, reminding everyone watching that this isn't just a reunion, it's the beginning of something deeper. Is Ty really back? Or is this Amy's heart giving her one last chance to say goodbye? The first episode of Heartland Season 20 doesn't give answers right away. Instead, it draws us into Amy's fragile reality, a space where grief and hope blur together, where every glance and whisper feels real, and where love might just find its way home again. The night after Ty's return feels endless. Amy can't sleep. The wind rattles the windows, and every sound outside makes her heart jump. She sits on the edge of her bed, clutching one of Ty's old flannel shirts, the same one she never had the strength to pack away. It still smells like him, like pine wood and the open fields where they used to ride together. Her hands tremble as memories flood back. Ty teaching Lyndy how to hold the reins, their quiet laughter by the barn, the night he promised her they'd grow old on this land. Every memory feels too real now, too close. But deep down, Amy knows something isn't right. When she saw Ty earlier, his voice was calm, his smile soft, but his touch, it wasn't there. Her hand passed through him like mist, like a whisper caught between two worlds. Tears burn her eyes as she whispers into the darkness, "Why can't you just stay? Why do you always have to leave?" The sound of her own voice cracks the silence of the house, echoing her grief that never really left. As the night deepens, Amy walks out to the barn, desperate for answers. Borden senses her unrest. He snorts and paws the ground nervously, as if he too can feel Ty's presence. Amy leans against his neck, crying quietly, her fingers digging into his mane. "I saw him, Borden. I swear I saw him." Her tears mix with the cold night air, falling to the dirt floor one by one, like raindrops on old wounds. Suddenly, a light flickers in the corner of the barn, faint, soft, almost like the glow of a lantern. Amy turns, her breath catching in her throat. There, for a split second, she sees him again, Ty, standing by the old tack wall, his hands in his pockets, just watching her. No words, Just that look, the same look that once told her everything would be okay. She blinks, and he's gone. Only the creak of the barn door remains. Amy sinks to the ground, sobbing. The weight of her pain crashes over her like a wave. For so long, she's tried to stay strong for Lyndy, for the ranch, for everyone. But at that moment, her heart breaks all over again. I can't do this without you, she cries into the empty barn. I thought I could move on, but I can't. I never will. The scene fades to a haunting silence. Only the wind and the sound of Spartan's breathing remain. Outside, dawn begins to break, painting the sky in soft shades of gold. It's beautiful, but to Amy, it feels hollow. The light means another day has begun, another day without Ty. But what Amy doesn't see is the faint shadow near the fence line, a silhouette watching from afar. Whether it's real or not, we can't tell. Yet somehow, deep inside, Amy feels it. Ty isn't gone. Not completely. Something or someone is trying to reach her. Heartland Season 20. Episode 1 dives deeper into the mind of a woman torn between reality and the ghost of her greatest love. And as the sun rises over Heartland, one thing becomes clear. Amy's story of healing is far from over. Morning light spills across the Heartland ranch, soft and golden, but inside the house, nothing feels warm. Amy sits silently at the kitchen table, her eyes red from crying, her hands still shaking around a cup of untouched coffee. Lou watches her from the counter, concern etched across her face. You didn't sleep, did you? She finally asks, her voice low, careful, like she's speaking to someone standing on the edge of breaking. Amy doesn't answer. Instead, she stares out the window, to the barn, to the place where she saw him. Ty, Jack steps in next, boots thudding softly against the wooden floor. He stops when he sees her, that haunted look in her eyes he remembers all too well. The same look Marion had when she lost her way for a while. Jack sighs and takes off his hat, setting it on the table. Amy, he begins gently. Sometimes, grief plays tricks on us, makes us see what our hearts want most. His words hang heavy in the air. But Amy looks up, and there's something in her eyes that stops him cold conviction. It wasn't a trick, Grandpa, she whispers. He was there. Jack's hand tightens around his coffee mug. For years, he's been the strong one, the unshakable pillar of Heartland. But even he can't find the right words. He looks out the window, then back at Amy, then mutters under his breath, if it was him, maybe he came back 'cause you needed him to. Meanwhile, Lou glances between them, torn between belief and fear. She wants to trust Amy, but logic fights her heart. Amy, she says softly, Ty's gone. You know that. Maybe this is your way of saying goodbye. Again, Amy doesn't flinch. Her voice steadies, calm but broken. No, this isn't goodbye. It's something else. I can feel it. The camera pans to Lyndy running into the room, her hair messy, her energy bright like morning sunlight. Mommy, I dreamed about Daddy last night, she says proudly. Amy freezes. Lou and Jack exchange a look. He said he's coming home soon, Lyndy adds, climbing into Amy's lap. The silence that follows is deep enough to feel. Amy holds her daughter close, tears brimming. Again, maybe he already is, she whispers into Lyndy's hair. Outside, Tim's truck rumbles up the drive. He storms in moments later, his usual roughness hiding something else, fear. What's this I hear about you seeing Ty? He asks sharply. Jack shoots him a warning glance, but Tim keeps going. Amy, you've been through hell, but you can't start chasing ghosts. Amy stands, trembling but defiant. You didn't see him, Dad? I did. Her voice shakes, but her eyes don't. The tension fills the room, love, anger, disbelief all colliding like storm clouds. Jack finally stands, placing a hand on Amy's shoulder. If Ty's really out there, he says quietly, we'll find out. But no matter what happens, you're not alone in this. Amy nods, her lips pressed tight, but her eyes drift once more toward the window. The camera follows her gaze out to the fields where the breeze bends the tall grass, and for just a second, a figure stands at the edge of the light. Lyndy looks up and whispers, almost like she can see it too, Mommy. He's smiling. And just like that, the screen fades to black, leaving the question that will haunt every fan. Is Heartland about to bring Ty back? Or is Amy's heart still writing her own ending? The days that follow are filled with whispers, questions, and uneasy silence. Everyone at Heartland feels the strange shift in the air. Horses act restless, doors creak open on their own, and at night, the lights in the barn flicker even when no one's inside. Amy walks through it all in a daze, half in this world, half in another. The image of Ty's face won't leave her mind. His eyes, his voice, the way he looked at her, it was all too real to be just a dream. And yet, when she tries to explain, no one truly understands. One morning, as Amy leads Spartan to the pasture, she spots something near the fence, a footprint. Fresh, large, heavy, the exact kind of boot print Ty used to leave after checking the horses. Her breath catches. She kneels to touch it, and, for a moment, the world around her fades away. A faint sound, a man's laugh, echoes in the wind. She spins around, eyes wide, but there's no one there. Only the whispering grass and the rustle of wings as a hawk flies overhead, the same kind of hawk Ty used to say was his spirit guide. Amy rushes to tell Jack, but he's cautious. Tracks don't always mean what you think, he says, though his eyes betray a flicker of doubt. Lou looks for logical answers, maybe a ranch hand passed through, maybe Amy's just tired. But Tim says nothing. That night, he drives out to the old trail road where Ty's accident happened, parking his truck in silence. He stands there for a long time, looking up at the stars, muttering, "If you're out there, kid, give her peace. She deserves that." Back at the ranch, Amy's dreams start to grow stronger. She sees Ty standing by the barn, working with Spartan like old times. She hears his voice saying, "You've done good, Amy. You're stronger than you know." Each night, she wakes up in tears, unsure if she's being comforted or haunted. Lyndy, too, starts to mention her dad more often, saying she talks to him in her dreams. "He said he misses you," she tells Amy one morning. "He said he can't stay long." The family grows uneasy. Jack starts keeping his porch light on through the night. Lou quietly calls a doctor, worried that grief might finally be breaking But Amy insists she's not losing her mind. She's hearing him, feeling him, being guided by him. And then, the letter arrives, a plain envelope. No name, no address. Inside, a single note written in handwriting that stops Amy's heart. "Meet me where we first began." The note smells faintly of pine. Amy stares at it, her breath trembling. That's what Ty said to her years ago, the exact words he used when he proposed near the wildflower fields. Amy drives out to the spot, heart pounding, tears blurring her vision. The sun is setting over the hills, casting everything in golden light. For a moment, she swears she sees him there, Ty, leaning against the fence post, that gentle smile on his face. The music swells, the world slows, and Amy steps closer. But as she reaches out, the light fades, and the field is empty again. Only the wind remains. She falls to her knees, crying out into the open sky. "Why are you doing this to me? Are you real? Or am I losing you all over again?" Her voice echoes through the valley unanswered. But then, softly, a whisper drifts through the air, almost carried by the wind itself. "You'll know soon." Amy looks up, her tears glistening in the fading light. Somewhere between life and memory, something where someone is calling her. And this time, she's ready to follow. The next morning, Heartland feels still to still. The wind has stopped, the animals are quiet, and even the sun seems hesitant to rise. Amy walks out of the house, her face pale but calm, as if she's made peace with something no one else can understand. In her hand, she carries a note, the one that said, "Meet me where we first began." Last night's encounter in the fields haunts her, but it also calls her back. She knows this isn't over. There's something waiting, a truth she's meant to face. She rides Spartan out into the golden light of dawn, the air cool and gentle. As they reach the wildflower meadow, the same place where Ty once promised her forever, Amy dismounts and closes her eyes. The camera circles around her, showing the field bathed in soft, warm light. Then, faintly, she hears it again, Ty's voice. Not loud, not ghostly, just a whisper that feels like it's coming from within her heart. "You've held on for me long enough," he says. "It's time to live again." Amy's breath catches. She looks around, tears streaming down her face, whispering back, I don't want to let you go. The air shifts, a gentle breeze passes through, carrying the scent of pine. Spartan lifts his head and snorts, eyes following something unseen. The light grows brighter, surrounding Amy in a golden haze. Then, for the last time, she sees him, Ty, standing just a few steps away. Not as a ghost, not as a memory, but as a feeling, calm, strong, and full of love. He smiles softly, the way he always did when words weren't needed. I never left. His voice echoes faintly. I've been here, in everything you love, in everyone who's still with you. Amy's lips tremble as she whispers, I miss you. Ty steps closer, his outline glowing against the light. You always will, but now, it's time to let your heart breathe again. And with that, he fades like sunlight melting into the horizon. The wind carries his warmth away, leaving behind silence and peace. Amy stands alone in the meadow, crying, but this time, the tears aren't of pain. They're of release. For the first time in years, she smiles through her tears, whispering, Goodbye, Ty. Back at the ranch, Amy returns home different. Jack watches her from the porch, sensing the change. Lou feels it too, the heaviness in the air has lifted. When Amy hugs Lyndy that evening, it's tighter, fuller, as if she's finally ready to step back into life. Mommy, Lyndy says softly, Daddy came to say goodbye, didn't he? Amy nods, brushing a tear from her daughter's cheek. Yes, sweetheart, but he'll always be with us. The camera pans out Heartland glowing under the fading sun. Spartan grazes near the barn. Lou and Jack share quiet smiles, and Amy looks toward the open sky. A single hawk circles above, wings stretched wide. She whispers, Fly home, Ty. The piano music swells one last time, carrying the emotion. The screen fades to black, and the words appear. Night falls softly over Heartland, and for the first time in a long while, the stars seem brighter. The ranch is quiet, the kind of peaceful silence that only comes after a storm has finally passed. Amy sits alone on the porch, a mug of tea in her hands, her eyes fixed on the open fields that stretch endlessly ahead. Somewhere out there, she feels him not as a ghost, not as a shadow, but as a warmth that fills the air around her. The night breeze carries the soft sound of wind chimes, the same ones Ty hung up years ago, after Lyndy was born. They haven't made a sound in years. Until now. Amy's eyes widen slightly, and a small, knowing smile forms on her lips. I hear you, she whispers into the dark. You kept your promise. Inside the house, photos of Ty still line the shelves. His jacket still hangs near the door untouched. But something has changed. The sadness that once clung to every memory now feels lighter, softer, almost sacred. Amy walks over, touching the old denim sleeve of his coat. You'll always be a part of this home, she says quietly. But it's time for me to live again. The next morning, the ranch wakes up under a golden sky. Lou is already in the kitchen. Jack sips his coffee, and Lyndy runs through the house laughing, her tiny boots thudding against the wooden floor. The energy feels different, brighter, freer. Amy steps out, her hair glowing in the morning sun, her heart steady for the first time in years. In the fields, Spartan waits. Amy mounts him, and together they ride across the open land, the same trails she once rode with Ty. The wind rushes past, lifting her hair, her laughter echoing through the hills. It's a sound of release, of healing, of rediscovery. For a fleeting second, as the camera pans wide, the sunlight bends and a faint figure appears beside her, riding just out of reach. Ty, smiling, proud, and at peace, but when Amy looks, there's no one there, only the endless horizon ahead. She smiles anyway, because she knows she doesn't need to see him anymore. His presence lives in every sunrise, every hoofbeat, every breath of wind that touches her face. As the scene slows, Amy rides to the hill overlooking the ranch. She stops there, watching Heartland bathed in gold. Her voice narrates softly, some love stories never end. They just change shape. They live in the land, in the people, in the memories we carry. Ty's story, our story, will always be part of this place. The music swells gently, piano and strings blending into a melody that feels like goodbye and hello at the same time. The screen fades into the glowing sky, and the final words appear in soft white text. He may be gone from sight, but never from Heartland. And just as the words fade, the faint echo of Ty's voice drifts through the wind. See you in the next ride, Amy. The dust settles over the rolling fields of Heartland, but something feels different now, lighter, warmer, full of quiet peace. Amy stands by the fence, the same spot where Ty once taught her how to listen to a horse's heartbeat. The sunset paints the sky in soft amber tones, and the world feels still again. She takes a deep breath, her eyes calm, her spirit finally free from the weight of years of pain. Heartland has always been about more than loss. It's about family, healing, and the unbreakable bond between hearts that refuse to give up. Ty may no longer walk this earth, but his soul breathes in every inch of that land. In the laughter of Lyndy, in Jack's quiet strength, in Lou's care, and in Amy's courage to start again. His love became the roots that hold this family together. As Amy walks toward the barn, Spartan whinnies softly, as if calling her home. She smiles, resting her hand against his neck. "We made it through, didn't we?" she whispers. The wind brushes her hair, and for a moment, she hears it again, Ty's voice, low and steady, like a memory wrapped in sunlight. "You always do."